afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session today. I'm going to be talking about how to use LinkedIn to build professional development and especially for career development. So I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn for the longest time. And the reason is very simple, right? Think of maybe about 20 years ago or even 15, 10 years ago, if there's somebody very important you want to get to know, how would you get to know that? Like, for example, maybe you want to know who is the CEO of Citibank in Singapore, right? How would you have access and how would you know these people? So 15, 10 years ago, it would be very difficult to have access to these people. Now provides a way to have unprecedented access. Essentially, you don't have to no longer live in your own circle of contacts. LinkedIn helps you to break down doors and build contact outside your circle. So for me, I think of kind of like LinkedIn is a way to make the world very flat and help me to build contacts outside. So the discussion of today, the agenda is going to be very simple. I'm going to show you how to build a LinkedIn profile that is engaging, and it shows your passions as a person, and it shows your career accomplishment and your career aspirations. So why is doing this an important thing? This is because more and more people, they are going online to recruit you. And they're also looking at your profile to determine if they want to build relationship and do business with you or not. Your LinkedIn profile is your online professional brand. So this is very important. So, and a lot of companies right now, if you're looking for a job, they no longer ask you to send in a CV. They'll ask you to send in your LinkedIn profile. Yeah, so I'm going to be going over how to do this. So let's get started. This is going to be a very exciting session. For sure, I owe my success, my career success through LinkedIn. So as an example, I was working in sales at Gartner, and I was in Singapore. And my job was to cover the Vietnamese market and, out of Singapore. And I didn't know at the time, I have to build relationship with CIOs, IT directors in Vietnam. And, at the time I was in my late 20s, I didn't know any IT person in Vietnam. So I went on LinkedIn, I typed in a few names, and then from there, I found their contact information, and I reached out to them and I built a relationship. And to this day, some of those people are still my friends. And I was a person that cracked the Vietnamese market for Gartner, helping Gartner to enter Vietnam in a very big way and successfully build business relationships. So to me, I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn. I'm sure, I'm a bit biased as well because currently I'm also working for the company. So let's get started. I also have created a Google Doc, and the Google Doc outlines for you the step on how to create an engaging LinkedIn profile. So I hope you have a chance to take a look at this Google document beforehand and have a chance to do the homework. So before we get started, I'm going to show you a few examples of how a LinkedIn profile should look like, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. So the first thing is, if you go into, as an example, we can look at my LinkedIn profile first, but we can look at a few others later. So the LinkedIn profile, this is what it looks like. Now, if you are going to be using this as a CV, as a resume, right? First thing first, you need to put in a picture, and the picture, please have some picture where you are smiling, looking very engaging, looking directly at the camera and very engaging and open. Then what you want to do next is when you want to scroll down here and you want to write a summary. Yeah. So the summary part is very important. Why is the summary part important? Now, the summary is essentially a part that explains about you as a person, who you are. And why is that important? Because there's this amazing author named Simon Sinek, and he talks about it is very important when you talk to somebody new or people in general, you give them a why before you give them the what. So if your LinkedIn profile, just go into the what, I look, I've hosted 5 conferences. I'm now in digital marketing. You're telling them the what. The why is, why are you doing this? Why are you in digital marketing? Why are you in hospitality? Why are you working in hotels, right? Why are you like hosting conferences? Why are you working IT? The why part is very important. And people like to deal powers like to deal with power. So people like to deal with other people that also similar to them, or at least they think of as peers. So the moment that you're talking about a summary, like a story about who you are, and this summary is going to be probably the hardest part that you need to write in a LinkedIn profile. You just need to write, like for me, I first started out with a quotation. And you can search many quotations. You just go to Google, you type in inspirational quotes, and you have many, many quotes. You pick out a quotation that kind of summarizes what you believe, right? Like, for example, you can say like time is money or whatever that you believe. Then you start talking a story about who you are. For me, a story about me is I'm very clear. I am a person that fundamentally motivated by change and by progress. I have seen in Vietnam what happens when people don't have any other means to grow. Their life, kind of just become almost like they don't get to live to their full potential. So it's actually for me, very difficult to see that. So for me, I dedicated my life to, it's all about to creating impact and creating progress. And as such, I took on many different jobs. If you look through my job background, it's very strange. It's like, oh, wow, Lily done anti-human trafficking, and now she's like, working on LinkedIn, and now she's doing this for college grads, she's mentoring college grads. Why is it so different? But the fundamental theme in my story is that I believe in change and I believe in progress. So you need to just sit back and think about who you are. Why do you want to work in logistics, right? What do you believe like the future is going to hold? And as such, why do you want to contribute your entire life, or at least like the next 5 years of your life, into this industry? Your passion needs to stand out. And once your passion stand out, people will love it, because people love working with other people who are passionate, who are ambitious, and who are, their passion is contagious. Yeah. So the summary part here, please take some time. One really funny story that I've read, this guy, the first line was, I'm 40 years old and I have 35 years of sales experience, right? And then he goes into telling a story about when he was 5 years old, he started selling cookies and, candies to his family, something like that, which is a great story. At least it shows to me that he's very, he's very passionate about doing what he does, right? So the summary part here, then up a new window tab for you to look at another person's LinkedIn profile. This is somebody I know. Darren is a great guy, and he's right now it's a final year at NTU in Singapore. So I pick a different example that's a lot closer to some of the people here to show you, another great example. Yeah. So the summary part, if you read this is also really awesome, right? So he started with a quotation as well. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Yeah. So just by reading a simple quote, you already have a feeling for who Darren is, right? Then he talks next. He used a lot of words like believe, right? Because it's your passion. So he's an avid believer in chasing the vision, wherever that might take you. So you're reading this and you're like, wow, this guy definitely is somebody very committed. So then he also, the next word, used the word believe again. I believe in the next wave of entrepreneurship, right? So then you go down, passionate. I'm also extremely passionate about not just starting up, but helping out. Right. So Darren is a great guy. I asked his permission to use a LinkedIn profile here, and he's happy to share. So if you read this LinkedIn profile, just a summary part, you already have a sense of who this person is. And now I also just want to say, please, just don't copy and paste other people's summary, because when you go through a job interview, people will find out. It's just best that you stick to what you believe in. And it's going to be a little bit hard, but just watch my other talk about how to discover your passion in life. That may give you some examples. Oh, another great way, let me go back to this. Another great way of how are you going to feel inspired is check out this page. This is a really amazing page. This is a LinkedIn interview 150 people that are 35 and under. So, people that are not that much older than you. Yeah. And these are people who are essentially the top in the industries, and they're changing the world. So I want you to take a look at this. You can scroll down. It has different industry. It has media, it has energy, real estate, whatever industry you're in. So like, for example, if you're going to be in finance, you can click on finance. Then you can click on one of these profile. When you click on the profile, it gives you a short story about this person. Then you can click on profile and feel more about and look at their profile. But just reading a story about these people, you have a sense of who these people are and what drives them. All of these people that are featured on this page are very passionate individuals, people who want to contribute. And if when you read this and you feel like, wow, I also want to, do something similar. Hello, cat. Sorry, there's a cat. I wish you can see him. Then when you're doing something like this, then you can be more inspired. And after you read this, go back and write your own summary. Okay? So that's what I really want you to do. So that's the summary part. Now we're going to move into the experience part. And yeah, feel free to ask any questions. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay, fantastic. So let me just go back to the... this is Darren's page. I'm going to go into the experience part. Okay, so the experience part here, I'm just going to highlight. If you go down to here, the experience part, this is where essentially it's a resume, right? It's a resume. So you put out your job title, you put in your link, whichever company that you work for in the past, intern or something like that. And this is a typical resume. Now, a resume needs to start out with very strong verbs. So in this case, Darren used verb like spearheaded, drove, right? Initiated, provided. Very strong word. This is a normal resume writing. But if you take a look here, you notice that he does his best to quantify a number, right? Because if you're just claiming something, okay, like, for example, I have manage a team of 10 people, something like that, and you don't give any specific numbers of the impact, then nobody's going to believe you. So it's very important that whatever statement that you say, you need to stop and provide a number, some sort of impact, metrics that goes along with it. So think very hard about this. Part doesn't have to be long. But what Darren's example is missing is, let me go back to my example and I will show you why is my example a little bit different from his. So we're going back to my LinkedIn profile page. Okay. You scroll down here. I actually, first of all, I would have a line about what the position, what the company does. Because, like, for example, say even if you work at, take a company like, say, SMRT, right? The train station, right? Maybe other people, like maybe outside Singapore, doesn't have an idea what SMRT is. So if you just say like, I'm an intern at SMRT, people doesn't know what SMRT is. So you might want to have one line describing what SMRT does, and that's easy, right? So copy in the line. Now, what you want to do next is, if you're using your LinkedIn profile as a cover letter, as a resume, then it should look like Darren, right? It should talk about, it should highlight your key responsibility at the company. But if you're using my LinkedIn profile like Fu, the way that Fu and I uses it, which is not to look for a job, because we already, in a job, And if you want to use it mainly to build relationship with people, then you don't really need to describe what you do at work. Like, I make 10 phone calls a day. Like, people don't care about that, right? Like, for people who already have a job and want to use LinkedIn to reach out to new people so that you can do sales, you can do marketing, then you just need to describe your company's value proposition. Okay, so this is the part right here. What Darren's also missing is that you can actually embed marketing content directly into this part. So marketing content directly into here. So as an example, like here, if I want to see what LinkedIn does, I click on here. Okay, now for all of those college students, or or for all those people who are looking for a job, I suggest you do something creative. That means if you have, like in the past, have any videos about you, where there's a project you've done at university where you give a speech, or or you're already working right now and you went on stage and you gave a speech as well, or a project about like describing one of the product you've done, any video about you, I would also upload it in here. Okay, so this is very important that you go ahead and upload rich media into this. I don't see it. Okay, the next part is that you should have recommendations, and how recommendations look like is very simple. Like for me here, under peer mentor here, Phương actually make a recommendation for me, like, oh, she's at NTU and she met me and how I mentor her. So having a recommendation is really important. Who should you ask for recommendation? Okay, this is very key. Now, if you're looking for the person that should make a recommendation should be either your boss, your colleagues, or your client. Okay, so the people that you're directly working with. If you are not looking for a job, you already have a job, and you want to kind of like have recommendations, then it should be your clients who work with you. So like in Phu's case, she works in events, she hosts events and that sort of thing. Then she should have other people who like attended the events as speakers write her recommendation. That should speak really powerful endorsement for Phu. Okay. All right, so I'm going to talk about one last thing, which is this is something that is going to elevate you. This is only for the advanced users, but this is something really awesome, which is right now you can publish a post. You can publish a post, and if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you saw that I published several posts. I published a post about sales. I published a post about like how to use LinkedIn. So I have published several posts. Now, publishing a post is kind of like writing an essay. Okay, this is really important to establish that you know your industry. So let me give you an example. You're going to be interviewing in a logistics industry, for kind of like a manager role or something like that, that you want to publish an article that you write yourself on where do you think the industry is going, what do you think are the big trends are, and things like that. Okay, why is this important? This is important so that when the interviewers, when the headhunters, they're looking at your profile, just give me a second, let me move to a place that's less noisy. So if other people, they are looking at your profile, okay, then if they're looking to hire you, then they can see that, oh wow, this person actually really know his or her stuff, and that's why this person have already published a post, right? Because then they think, oh, this person is more like an expert. Now, this is even more important if you want to switch industry. Okay, for example, we have somebody on this phone call right now, I'm not going to say who, is looking to move from the industry that she's in into a new industry. So let's just say hospitality into internet. Okay, and she doesn't have much background in IT and internet. So what can she do? You need to show that you're very passionate about this new industry. So then what I would encourage you to do is publish a post on this. So like, for example, if you want to move into a sales role for like, just say Facebook, okay, which is all about digital marketing. Then you need to spend a week or two really research about Facebook, what they do with the clients and stuff like that, and then write an article, just stating like what you believe that this product can do for the future, and give some insights about where do you think this is going. Now again, right, 80% of your research could build on other people's experiences. You don't have to write research from scratch. You just use, quoting other people, that's fine. But 20% should be your own thoughts. Okay, so I hope this is clear, but this is only for the advanced users. But this is going to help set you apart from the rest of the other candidates, because you have published something that is useful. And then when you publish it, please, tag your friends, send it around to your contacts, ask them to comment, ask them for feedback. That would be very useful. But if you publish it and no one reads it, then yeah, that has no credibility anyway. So I know this is very time consuming, guys, but if you're working toward a perfect job, then I suggest you just go ahead and focus. This is because like other people are not. And if you're going to take the time to do this, you will definitely stand out.